And we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 142nd SongBike Guitar Q&A Livestream. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're having great weather. I would have started on time, but I had kind of a fun poll question, which let me explain it to you before you vote. And I was limited to how many characters I could use for your answers. So let me explain. But the last 8 minutes, I've been trying to edit the answers. So tonight's poll question, everybody. You choose one of the following teacher scenarios. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer to work with a very experienced teacher, but you're going to learn his song or her song? They have their thing. They want to show you this thing. They're like, look, ma'am, that's what we're going to do. That's what you're learning. You know, they don't care about what you thought. No. They have an agenda. And they probably did the same thing with a student right before you too. Choice number 2, a less experienced teacher. And they're jumping all over. I mean, they can show you a little blues thing. They can show you that song by Led Zeppelin. They can show you that country thing. And they're, oh man, no, they're not a very experienced teacher, or they're less experienced, but they sure do have a lot to show you. And you ask a question about something on a, you get the idea, right? And they're going to show you a little bit of everything. Oh, they don't have much experience, but they sure do have an excited outlook, Who knows what's going to happen, right? Kind of a hot mess. You might walk out of that lesson thinking, what just happened? Option number 3. Now, this is a real wild card. This person, they're not in a position to teach you. They might have never taught anyone, but they say, look, come watch me play. You can sit right next to me. You're going to have a perfect view. In this scenario, imagine you are sitting, you have a cloak of invisibility, and you're sitting right next to them, and you can see everything they're doing. They're not teaching you anything, except you can see, oh man, the person is doing some picking fingers. The person is doing bar chords. The person is, oh wow, you can see everything. I mean, every little subtle thing they're doing, you can observe it. You don't know what they're doing all the time, but you sure can see every little detail. So those are your 3 choices for tonight's poll question. If you had, say, an hour, would you choose an hour with that very experienced teacher who's showing you a very limited, specific thing that they teach everybody? Would you work with a less experienced teacher who's going to show you a lot of stuff during the hour, but it's kind of all over the place? Or that live scenario where you are right there, right at their elbow? I'm curious. Okay, so a little thing that popped in my head. I sometimes lob you guys some softball questions like, did you ever play in your backyard? I thought tonight would be time for something. It's the 142nd live stream. It's time for something. So please do vote in that poll. I'm going to say a few hellos. M. Fish, Caddis, DAC Poet. Robert checking in from Crewe, England, the home of the Bentley motor car. All right, I love it. Love it. Stephen, Chaz checking in. Hey, you guys. Matt, Randy, Dr. Collier checking in. DAC Poet. Yeah, I got you. Joseph checking in from Oklahoma City. Hey, everybody. Okay, so that's the poll question of the night. You remember last week, I gave you homework. Optional, but it is homework. Instead of keeping you guessing as to what our play-along songs were going to be this week, I told you last week, the 3 play-along songs this week were the first 3 we ever did. They include, if you remember right, Helpless by Neil Young, Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, and California Stars, written by Woody Guthrie and Billy Bragg and Wilco, combining all their creative talents. So we're going to do those 3 songs, and later tonight, I'm going to tell you what the 3 are going to be for next week, okay? The premise here is that, hey, if you just had a little time to prepare, you'd probably feel a lot more comfortable with playing along with somebody, right? So that's the idea, giving you a 1-week head start. And I'm just reaching back chronologically to the first ones we did, probably the ones next week are going to be numbers 4, 5, and 6. You get the idea. Okay, I'll keep you posted. So we're going to do 3 play-along songs this week. Get ready for that. We're going to do hopefully 3 WTFs, weekly teaching features, which are also some of our greatest hits. A weekly teaching feature, a lesson I call Chords 101. The ultimate chord progression. Anyone remember the ultimate chord progression? We're going to review that one. I wrote it out in a nice, new, neat, easy to read format. And we're also going to do a weekly teaching feature on 7th chord arpeggios. And you know what? We might even start with that one to get your hands warmed up. I'm going to put that in the screen in a minute. Happy Father's Day for those of you who are dads or have a dad in your life that you're going to be spending some time with tomorrow. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Beautiful weather here, and I hope it's beautiful where you guys are at too for Father's Day. I have my own dumb question of the week, which ties in a little bit to the poll question. We have finally, I'm resurrecting a segment I call Should I Sell Out? I finally got a new offer to sell out. I'm going to share that with you. Who's in town? We have a couple of great players in town coming through my neck of the woods. If they're coming through my neck of the woods, they're probably coming through your neck of the woods. And while I put our first weekly teaching feature on the screen, I want to thank you guys for using the Sweetwater affiliate link. Some of you guys have been buying yourself some beautiful stuff because Sweetwater did send me a little bit of their profits based on what you guys bought using the affiliate link. And it was the largest amount Sweetwater has ever sent this channel in thanks for, us promoting Sweetwater. So those of you who have been buying stuff using the SongBike affiliate link with Sweetwater, thank you very much. It does not go unnoticed. That affiliate link is in the description of this live stream and every live stream. And remember, you don't pay any more. You pay the same Sweetwater price, but Sweetwater sends a little bit of their profits to support this channel. Okay, so you ready to get warmed up? Okay, you guys might remember this very well. I chose this as our warm-up right now because let's get your fretting fingers stretched out. This is, in my opinion, this exercise, these 7th chord arpeggios, they're a lot prettier, a lot more musical than you might guess just from looking at a bunch of numbers on the screen. Please put your fretting hand in 2nd position. That means your index finger, first finger is going to play all the 2nd fret notes, middle finger play all the 3rd fret notes, ring finger 4s, pinky is going to play the 5s. Keep your hand in that position for this entire page. Then you'll never have to wonder which finger is supposed to play at which fret. You got everything right there. Okay, we're about to work through 8 chords in the key of G. Every chord is a 4-note chord. What did we decide that was called? A quadrad. A 3-note chord is called a triad. I think a 4-note chord, quadrad. It's going to sound a little jazzy. 4-note chords sound jazzier than 3-note chords in general. Those first 4 notes are the 4 notes of a G major 7 chord. So when we play them as individual notes, that's known as an arpeggio, okay? Good workout. It's going to make you think about how you're holding your fretting hand thumb. It's going to make you think about your fretting hand wrist, what's going on there. You do not, in fact, you should not make an attempt to hold down multiple strings at the same time. It's all about playing 1 note at a time with 1 finger and getting 4 good notes. Okay, the G major, also known as the 1 chord. If we're in the key of G major, this G major 7 is known as the 1 chord. Okay, forwards, backwards. You could do all downstrokes. The reason being, speed is not the number 1 goal here. And the second reason is, I really want you to give 99% of your attention to your fretting hand, okay? The ring finger and the pinky finger are the most likely fingers to result in that buzzy, not quite there kind of tone. So go slowly. You'd be surprised how many problems / issues / mistakes are solved instantly by just slowing down, right? Okay, how about that second measure, the A minor 7 measure, the 5-3-2-5. When you give these 4 notes a little swing, it really contributes to the jazzy musicality of this. backwards. I mean, just by going up and down any one of these measures, remember, measures a box of music, right? And just going up and down any one of these arpeggiated chords, it really can sound like you're playing a jazz melody. My fantasy is that someone in your household hears you doing this and they say, "Oh, I like that. What song is that?" And you can make up whatever answer you want to, but you know, I hope you all get that response from someone in your life. Number one, it means you're doing it right. Number two, it just proves that, hey, arpeggiating chords like this, it's a very musical sound. How about the B minor 7 at the end of line 1, 2, 5, 4, 2? Where's your fretting hand thumb? There's not one absolute place it has to be, except the most helpful place. Wherever you get the most support, right? The thumb in a way is adding support to what the other 4 fingers are doing. At the bottom of the page, by the way, I had this idea. I have mixed feelings about it because it's a little bit of a distraction. My idea was, hey, you could take any one of those 5 chords at the bottom of the page and make a loop of yourself strumming that chord, and then improvise on top of that chord with the appropriate arpeggio. Or if you're ambitious, make a loop of you playing 2 of those chords, a G major 7 for 8 counts and an A minor 7 for 8 counts, and then improvise on top of that. One of the reasons I included those chords down there is it would have been white space if I didn't. I can't stand that white space. That means the teacher ran out of ideas, and I did not run out of ideas. So I had to put something there, right? But that's why those are down there. Those chords, I stand by everything I just, offered, but those chords down there, that do not spend too much time with those chords. They're beyond the scope of exactly what we're doing right now, which is getting your left hand or your fretting hand warmed up. Okay, line 2, the C major 7. Hey, notice the C major 7 sequence, 3, 2, 5, 4, same sequence as the G major 7 up above it, 3, 2, 5, 4. Not a coincidence. C major 7, G major 7. Ooh, there's a cool little sequence, just back and forth. C major 7 to G majors. Ricardo says your cat is not impressed by this. Your cats are never impressed. See, it sounds like something, right? Oh, by the way, those of you who are songwriters, you could write a song where at least part of the song is based on 2 chords going back and forth. So imagine writing a song based on G major 7 going to C major 7. One track, if you're doing some home recording, one track could be lightly strumming those chords, maybe 4 beats on each, right? Second track could be sort of our bass line type accompaniment. And that's going to happen along with each chord, right? And then you can start singing on top of it with a totally different melody. Well, I love my baby. I love her so. Ba 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 ba. So, starts to sound kind of interesting. At some point, you got to go on to a 3rd chord, but you get the idea. Okay, how about that D7, the middle of line 2? 5, 4, 2, 5. Hear that tension? That last note, 5 on the 3rd string, that's the note C. And in this context, that's the note that gives D7 its tension. Any chord that's just something 7, not major 7, not minor 7, just D7. The full name is D dominant 7, but we never say the dominant part, right? We just say D7. Those chords always have this built-in tension. So D7 is the one here. How about that E minor 7? Minor 7 chords have very little tension. I call it a watery kind of sound. It's a nice sound, minor 7, in this context, but okay, now don't forget to shake out your fretting hand a little bit. Many of us get so focused and we're having fun almost that you forget that your fretting hand is working hard and you might be pushing it in some ways that are new. So it's always good to take a minute and shake it out. A good ultimate goal would be to play this whole page top to bottom, no stopping. At a medium speed, doesn't have to be fast or anything, but just at a nice medium speed. No mistakes. Set a metronome, nice slow tempo, 60 beats per minute. That's a good ultimate goal, right? But since at the moment we're treating this as a warm-up, just spending 5 minutes doing anything with this page, doing it well, right? Doing it slowly with thought, care, love. It's going to serve our purposes as a good fretting hand warm-up. Okay, we're almost there. Last line, an F sharp minor 7, flat 5. What? Is it going to sound as crazy as the name implies? Doesn't actually sound too crazy, right? Can you see how my pinky is jumping between the two 5s? Some of you might be inspired to bar both of those 5s. That's not a crazy idea, but I don't recommend it because I'd rather have your pinky get the dexterity and speed and confidence to hop between strings than simply the strength it takes to bar both of them. But I mean, either way, you're giving your pinky some work to do. So it's not there's one right way and one wrong way. But I definitely don't recommend pushing yourself to bar both of the 5s with your pinky. Okay, that's not the goal, you know. So don't if you try that, it's not successful. That's that was never the goal, anyways. Okay, and then we've made it back to the 1 chord. Remember the 1 chord, these are just nicknames, right? If we're in the key of G, then the G major 7 is known as the 1 chord. We played it down here to start off, and now we're playing it 1 octave higher with one last G note at the end to give us that closure. Okay, so you guys feeling it a little bit? And when you guys always know I love when the chat goes quiet because I'm pretty sure it's that you're playing the guitar and there's nothing to chat about, right? You're working, you're busy. Excellent. Okay, we have done this before. If this rings a bell, yep, we did a while ago. It is worth bringing back on our live stream, and it's worth adding to your practicing. It's certainly if you're an aspiring jazz player, then working on these jazz-ish chords is definitely valuable. Even if jazz guitar is not your thing, these sound so pretty, right? And these chords are not exclusive to jazz necessarily. But nothing wrong with making some jazzy sounds come out of your guitar, even if what you aspire to play is not jazz directly, And remember, my pitch here is that we're just giving your fretting hand a workout, right? But there's nothing like hearing some sounds come out of your instrument that maybe you didn't know were in there, and all of a sudden like, ooh, make a little jazzy sound. Okay, that PDF is available at my website. Of course it is. For those of you who are members of the website, I hope you all become members of the website. song-bike.com, the PDF section. We're getting close to 200 PDFs at that on my website. 191. Holy cow. That's a lot. So consider becoming a member of my website. You get to access a whole lot of stuff. Okay, you guys good with that? Let's get right into one of our play-along songs. Our first play-along song tonight was our first play-along song way back when, Helpless by Neil Young. we had done 19 live streams, and this is way back when, right? And I got the idea, hey, you know what? What about a global, international play along? Why not? And so on live stream number 20, this is what we did. It didn't look exactly like this, what I put on the screen. However I did it, it's hard for me to look back at the early live streams. Anyways, so here's what we're going to do tonight. Again, this is from live stream 20. A link to that live stream, is it going to be in this description, I think? Yes, a link to that live stream will be in this description of this live stream. Although, why look back, man? We're doing it right now, but I'll put that link in there in case you're curious what the live stream looked like a couple years ago. Okay, why is this song our inaugural song way back at live stream 20, and why is it worth bringing back today? Come on, man, DAG, that's the whole song. Okay, now I know I talk a lot, and I also know I talk a lot as I, introduce the songs that we're going to do for play along. No more. Partly because you guys have seen a bunch of these things. Also because look, what's on the screen there does the talking. So, D, 2 down strums, A, 2 down strums, and G, 4 down strums. Guess what? You can do G however you want. Okay? As we progress through the song, I'm going to start putting in some more little subtle or not so subtle things, but it doesn't change the fact that the structure of the song is 2 counts on D, 2 counts on A, and 4 counts on G. Okay, more about the strumming in a second. The next 2 lines, for those of you who would like to work on your lead guitar skills, the song's in the key of D. You need the D major pentatonic. At least I recommend the D major pentatonic. So the D major pentatonic, I wrote down there 2 different ways. One in 7th position and one in the open position. No reason why you can't be good at both, by the way, No reason why you can't be good at both the guitar chords, the rhythm guitar part, and the lead guitar part. Why not? And especially if you feel like you haven't got much experience doing lead guitar, there's your chance right there. Those of you who have never tried improvising at all, the bottom scale, in the open position, the 0, 2, 4. Is going to be your best bet, just because who doesn't love open strings and 2s and 4s and stuff? Randy, I see your comment there. Yeah, everybody see this okay, Randy? I'd noticed that the chat has really gone quiet. So I thought, hope you guys can hear and see this okay. All right, so we're going to start in a second. Probably what I'm going to do as we play through this tune, I'm going to do some ghost strums. Those are little tiny strums in between what's written right there. So instead of D twice, A twice, and G 4 times, right? I might put in a little hear those little ghost strums. I'm very lightly playing just maybe a couple of the strings in the center of the guitar, in the center strings. There's my loud D strum, and then a little subtle kind of ghost strum in between. So you're going to hear me do that. I almost certainly will throw in a couple of hammer-ons. So I'm strumming the D, but any finger can be lifted off of a chord and then hammered back down after the strum. So you'll hear me do a little bit of that. The actual recording, there's not a big distinctive guitar part that we're obligated to replicate. So that's a good thing, right? That gives us a little freedom. All right, let me get my lyrics ready here. I'm ready if you guys are ready. Would love to know that you guys are singing some harmonies on the Helpless. Isn't that Crosby, Stills, and Nash singing the harmonies on the original? So I'm hoping that you guys are helping out with that. Okay, I'm ready if you are. Let's just do it. Okay, on the count of 4. I like Neil Young, I'm going to take a break in the middle, and that's a perfect time for you guys to practice your soloing there with a D major pentatonic. I'll see you on the other side. 2, 3, 4. There is a town in North Ontario with dream, comfort, memory to spare. In my mind, I still need a place to go. All my changes were there. Blue, blue window behind the stars. Yellow moon on the rise. Big birds flying across the sky, throwing shadows on our eyes. Leaves us helpless, helpless, helpless. Babe, can you hear me now? Chains are locked and tied across the door. Babe, sing with me somehow. Blue, blue window behind the stars. Yellow moon on the rise. A big bird's flying across the sky, throwing shadows on our eyes. Leave us helpless, helpless, helpless. Helpless, helpless, helpless. Helpless, helpless, helpless. Helpless, helpless, helpless. Okay. If you just stuck with those 2 down strums per chord, great. Chances are you are making the chord changes, right? Nothing's more important than making the chord changes in time. That's why keeping the strumming simple, always the best strategy until you have that confidence. You'll know when you have the confidence to make the chord changes and get more creative. Just there at the end, I was doing some hammer-ons on the treble strings. On the D, I was lifting off my middle finger, strumming it, and then hammering down with the middle finger. On the A, I was doing it on the second string. It's a tight fit. little bit trickier for me. And on the G, you might have heard me on the G. Sometimes I did a hammer on the 5th string, right? Now, it's beyond the scope of this play along to go into, you know, every subtle thing that I may or may not have done or Neil Young did. Because remember, my goal is to get you up and running. And what's on the page is what gets you up and running. Anybody have any fun playing the major pentatonics, soloing along with that? Ricardo says, I was adding upstrokes and got out of time. Yeah, but you did it. Better to take a chance and see where it leads you. Getting some upstrokes in between. This song is, because it's pretty darn slow and so repetitive, there's a lot of space, you know. Although I got to say, when I was listening to the original recording in preparation for today's live stream, I was struck by how sparse everything is on the recording. There's some nice, very subtle piano playing, but it's less is more. The recording of this, the choices they made and the arrangement of this, definitely a less is more kind of thing. Okay, there you go. That PDF is for sure available on my website. So check that out. I'm Jamie, that D major pentatonic work for you? Yeah. Yep. We're going to see that concept again with the other 2 tunes. I'm trying to digitize all my stuff and make it as uniform as possible. So, you know, chords with a rhythm guitar, whatever you need to know about that, and then below the lead guitar ideas. And so instead of, so everything is uniform. And secondly, I can wean myself off of this massive thick stack of papers that I have with like a master copy for like everything I've ever taught in my life. And it's nice to digitize it, you know. All right. Thank you guys. Was that fun? Okay. Don't go anywhere. We got 2 more, right? Hey, for those of you who are curious, I'll mention this probably again before the night is out, but those of you who are here right now, next week's 3 songs are going to be the songs that we did on live streams 23, 24, 25. The next 3 songs we're going to do next Saturday include Already Gone by the Eagles, Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, and Jambalaya by Hank Williams. And links to those live streams are going to be in the description of this live stream, so you can review. Because remember, the whole point is you want to give yourself a week to like brush up on these tunes, and then when it comes time to play it here in our live stream, you feel hopefully a lot more comfortable. So I got to ask, I'm going to put some of you on the spot. Did any of you feel more comfortable with what we just did because you practiced during the week? Anybody? I'm kind of curious, you know. I know, hey, it's a busy week. I'm not saying anyone's in trouble if you didn't do that, but I'm just curious if it made a difference to know, oh, these are the songs this week. I'm going to do a little prep. So let me know. I'm curious about that. Ricardo says, infinitely more comfortable. I spent most of my time on California Stars because you love this song. Yeah, awesome. We'll get to California Stars. I'm doing them in chronological order. So Knockin' Heaven's Door is coming up in a little bit, and then we'll do California Stars before the end of the night. No reason, that's just the order they showed up in this live stream way back when. Back when I had a different haircut. Chaz did practice during the week. All right. No one's in trouble for not practicing. Believe me, I get it. But it's nice for me to know that this effort is having an effect. Okay, so what is he gonna say? There's a little segment that I call "Do You Know?" and I name a famous guitar player or a guitar player that probably should be more famous. This gentleman just passed away recently, and I knew his name, and I didn't know too much about him. So I educated myself a little bit, and I'm turning you guys on to James Blood Ulmer. It was a name that I was familiar with a long time ago, but I never did a deep dive. What an interesting person. what an interesting career he's had. James Blood Ulmer just died a few weeks ago. And on the screen, you will see a Wikipedia page talking about his life. And I also grabbed some links to his obituary in the New York Times and the Guardian. And also National Public Radio did a nice obituary on him. Man, what an interesting guy, what great music. As I was preparing for this live stream, I was listening to some of his great music while I was puttering around and getting organized and stuff. James Blood Ulmer. Man, the guy covered a lot of ground. I'm going to scroll up here. Just the fact that he played with some of these jazz giants like Ornette Coleman. You see here in Wikipedia, they're saying he was the first electric guitarist to record and tour with Ornette Coleman. Holy cow. Made a lot of recordings. Was it Robert Palmer, the music critic from the New York Times, said that no guitar player excited him as a critic as much since Jimi Hendrix. And I can see why, man. He is on his own journey, James Blood Ulmer. He was definitely a musician's musician, but he was nominated for a Grammy for an album called it's a Sun Records. It's called Mississippi Blues. Let's see this discography here. Memphis Blood, the Sun Sessions. So if you are a blues fan and you want to hear him sticking to a more strict blues format, that's a very cool album, and it got him nominated for a Grammy. Memphis Blood, the Sun Sessions. But I really love this album called Odyssey. Let me make sure. Yeah, this album called Odyssey, and that's what I was listening to quite a bit as I prepared for this live stream. Anyways, James Blood Ulmer, very interesting person. And so since he just passed away after a very wide-ranging career, I thought I would bring him to your attention as I educated myself. I thought I would share what I know with you guys. So I will put links to a few of his obits and the Wikipedia page in the description of this live stream. But I really, I highly recommend you guys checking out the album called Odyssey and really any of his stuff. But that's what I've been listening to recently. And I have a feeling I'll be listening to a lot more. Okay. A segment that I call Do You Know? And now you do. You do. James Blood Ulmer. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at what you guys are chatting about in the chat. Excellent, excellent. Don't forget to vote in our poll. Kind of an poll question came out of left field, but I figured it was time. Tonight's poll question, if you weren't here at the beginning of the live stream, which one of these teachers would you choose? If you had an hour with one of these teachers, would you choose a very experienced teacher who's going to teach you the thing that teacher wants you to learn? Maybe one song that teacher says, look, this is an important song. I gotta learn this song. That's what the lesson's going to be. And it's an hour and it's over. How about a less experienced teacher who knows a lot of stuff and is very excited to show you lots of stuff? And if you ask a question, they're going to answer your question, and then they're going to give you an example, and then they're going to move on to something else. And it's a very interesting lesson. Might cover a lot of stuff. Or, and this is the oddball, the teacher, quote, says, look, man, I don't teach lessons, but you're welcome to come and watch me play, and you get a front row seat, or maybe even better than a front row seat. Imagine yourself just sitting right there and just watching every note they play for a whole concert or for an hour or whatever. I mean, that could be pretty informative, right? That's not theoretical. That's someone doing it right there. You can, very interesting. Okay, so please do vote in that poll. I thought I'd throw you guys an interesting question after all this time. Okay, check. Did that one. Okay. Hey, don't forget, if you have a question for me, that's what I'm here for. Ask me a question, put it in the chat with a bunch of question marks in advance. That's how I know you're asking me the question. And hey, please do tell a friend about this live stream. The more the merrier, right? And if you're so inclined, if you're on Instagram or Facebook anyways, please do give me a follow on Instagram. or Facebook. You can find me just by doing a search for the term SongBike in either one of those platforms, and you'll find me. Who's in town? A couple of very interesting veteran performers on tour right now. Sean Colvin is coming through town, singer-songwriter Sean Colvin, and blues guitar player and singer Papa Chubby is coming through town as well. If they're coming through small town Connecticut, they're probably coming through your neighborhood as well. I will put links to a couple of their live videos in the description of this live stream. Sean Colvin and Papa Chubby on tour right now. Check, check, check. Okay, excellent. All right, hi to my mom. Hi, Mom. My mom is sometimes watching these live streams. Hi, Mom. Hope you're doing well. And my wife, Music Fan, I saw her name in the chat. Music Fan is our moderator, and that's why she gets the blue name in the chat. Hi, sweetie. Hope you're doing well. Leftover Chinese food tonight. Woohoo! We had some good Chinese food last night, and got the last bit of it tonight. I'm excited. Okay, let's move on, man. Let's keep learning stuff. Hey, slash chords. This is going to be an interesting one. Stand by. This is another weekly teaching feature that we did back in the day. Slash chords 101. What are slash chords? I'll tell you right now, it has nothing to do with the gentleman known as Slash. Hey, where's our slash chords here? Hold on. It has to do with the way chords can be named. Oh, I know. I'm going to pull it up from my website. Okay. If it's not my hard drive, I'm going to go to my own website and pull it up from there. You'll make that happen. Okay. Bada boom. Bada bing. Where are you? Slash chords. Sometimes you'll see chords named C/G and so on. And many of you know that that's nothing to stress out about. Beautiful. There we go. Okay, here it comes. Our second weekly teaching feature of the night. That one, not that one, this one. Oh, not that one. Our second weekly teaching feature. Come on, man. That's what I want. Slash chords 101. Okay, boom, stand by. Here it comes. Okay. Slash chords are very often easy to play in a physical sense, but people get hung up on the name and they feel like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going to make this larger. Okay, you guys, stand by. Okay, they get hung up on the name and they think, oh, I don't know that chord. I don't know that chord. What does it mean? Some people take the guess that it means to play one chord and then very quickly change to another chord, but no, that is not what a slash chord means. Quick description of or explanation of what a slash chord is. It's a chord where the lowest sound that you are giving the listener is not the same note as the name of the chord. You're playing a low sound that is not the root note of the chord. And for academic reasons, you got to give that its own name. An example you can see right there before you, a D chord where you include the open A string. So 5 total strings. Perfectly harmonious sound, but many teachers, including me, often describe or typically describe D as a 4-string chord, when in reality, you're perfectly welcome to include the open 5th string, the A string. It's just that technically then we have to call it by the slash name you see there, D/A. Some people call it D over A or D with A in the bass. Whatever works for you. You'll hear people describe these different ways. D/A. I would say, if you want to be really hip, I would say D over A. If I had to pick one way to describe it that I would suggest you describe it, yeah, D over A over E, and so on. Imagine a piano player with their right hand playing a D chord and with their left hand reaching down and playing a low A. I mean, that's in effect, that's kind of what you're doing, except it's a lot more convenient. Okay, so no big deal, right? Slash chords, no big deal. They create a slightly different effect, but you know, in a minute, I'm going to put this in context. But take a look at what you're seeing there. At the end of line 1, that G/B, that's an extremely common slash chord. You might even be fretting an entire G chord, But if you're not strumming the 6th string, if you're not including the 6th string for whatever reason, maybe because you were directed not to hit the 6th string or whatever, then technically you're playing a G chord with B as the low note, G over B. And in a minute, we'll see a context for that specific G/B chord. Sometimes the slash chord involves adding a finger. See that C/G on the second line? That's my go-to C chord, by the way. Given, if all other things being equal, I really prefer to play C with all 4 of my fretting hand fingers. It just feels good. I don't have to worry about avoiding the fat string the way most of us are taught. When you play a C chord, you don't include the fat 6th string. Well, with C over G, you can. It adds a nice boomy sound in a good way. C with G as the low note. Okay, any questions? Any questions so far about where this whole slash chord thing is coming from? I'll get into why you do it in a minute, but in terms of how the name relates to what your fretting hand does, any questions about that? I'll scroll up in a minute so you can see what's going on here in the example. Number 1, piece of advice: don't get stressed out by the name. Number 2 piece of advice. I'm going to scroll up here. When in doubt, in a jam, just play the first name. If it says D over F sharp and you don't remember how to do a D over F sharp, just play a D chord. If you're in the field and you just have to make it happen, they'll triage on your chord playing, just bang out a D chord, and then you can go back and revisit it. But if you're in a jam session and that chord pops up, someone passes around a song and says D over F sharp, you're like, I don't remember how to play that, just play a D chord, and then figure it out later, okay? So here's an example. I'm scrolling up here. Here's an example of how you might see slash chords show up in a way that might seem scary and weird, but doesn't have to be. Okay, the line I'm looking at here, it's strumming a C chord, then C/B. See that name right there, C/B, then A minor, then A minor/B, and then there's a repeat sign. Do not go on to the bottom line yet. The bottom line is a totally different example. These are 2 completely different examples. I'm going to play that line, the C line, because seeing it and hearing it is going to help a lot. Okay, did you hear that little walk down? 3rd fret on the 5th string to 2nd fret on the 5th string to the open 5th string during the A minor chord. Back to 2nd fret on the 5th string. I call that a song within a song, really just a bass line. The singer could be singing something totally unrelated, but there's that nice bass line happening at the same time. Okay, so at the moment where the C chord is described as C/B, the big change you need to access with your middle finger, take your fretting hand middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret. Keep your index still where it is. You lift away your ring finger, right? And your middle finger moves over. And now you're playing a B note on the 5th string during a C chord. That's the premise here. And so it's described as a C chord with B as a low note. You might say, yeah, but I just let go of an important note from a C chord. Yeah. And that's why the strumming that comes right after that, the 0, 1, 0, that little stack of numbers, 0, 1, 0, we're avoiding the string that you just abandoned. The 4th string, we're avoiding that. 3rd fret, that's a little up, down, up. 2nd fret, up, down, up. So we're focusing the little strums on the 3 skinny strings. Okay, what do you think? Do you see where the name C/B is an accurate name? It is accurate, right? But it could freak someone out if they said, oh, C/B, and then they Google it, right? How do you play C/B? And all of a sudden 20 minutes goes by. And keep in mind, if whatever you're looking at has tab like this does, just follow the tab. Don't even stress about what the name of it is. Always follow the tab. But as you guys know from, say, ultimateguitar.com, there's no tab, right? It just says C and then C/B. Like, what is C/B? And maybe there's some sort of description of it somewhere at the top or the bottom of the page, but it can be stressful, right? Okay, so I want to give you a context of how and when you might see a C/B chord. If you guys are okay with that, down below is a similar thing, G going to E minor. Okay, there's a bass line, right? 3rd fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the 6th string. But as soon as you hit that 2nd fret on the 6th string, that's the note F sharp, we have to acknowledge that. So at that moment, technically at that moment, you are giving the world a G chord with F sharp as the bass note. That's all. Both of these examples are really, really common examples. If you haven't seen these already, you will soon, in some favorite song of yours. And both these examples reflect what I would call a walk down. It is a walk down, In fact, both examples are 3 to 2 to 0 to 2. A nice little walk down and a kind of a walk back up, a little bass line, that's happening here. So now you probably would play this just fine without the names being attached. You just follow along with what it says, right? But the reason I'm bringing this up and the reason we're doing Chords 101 is for those times when they don't show you the tab, they just show you the name, and you're expected to know how to play E minor / F sharp, because out of context, that sounds like an insane chord. What the heck is E minor / F sharp, right? So hopefully this gives you a little sense for what it's all about. Okay, now, one more moment on this. Okay, see that page right there? I gave you 2 more concrete examples of where you have heard this sound in songs. And technically, even though I did not write in all the exact chord names as it progresses, you might see it written that way. So Friend of the Devil is one example, and Landslide is another example. You can see I made a note up above that you can find a video of me teaching Friend of the Devil on YouTube. I'll actually put a link to that in the description of this video. Okay, you may know Friend of the Devil. If you don't, it has this cool rhythm guitar pattern that's worked into the fabric of the song. Right? It sounds like 2 guitar players. Done well, it sounds like 2 guitar players. One player playing that descending line, and the other person, the illusion is that there's another person just lightly strumming the whole time. I'd play better if I held the guitar like a normal person. Okay, so playing it is not the point right now, although it's a cool line. Everyone should learn that riff. It's that at the moment the left hand grabs that 4 on the 4th string, that happens to be the note F sharp. At that moment, technically you're playing a G / F sharp. When there's the 2 on the 4th string, this is the 2nd measure at the top of the page, it's G / E, G with E in the bass. And when you hit that 0 on the 4th string, it's G with D in the bass. So someone, not me, but someone might describe this as G / F sharp, G / E, G / D, and that sounds exhausting. Saying it is exhausting, right? When in reality, it's just this cute little descending, thing that continues on with a C chord, okay? So I'm going to move on to landslide in a second, but the premise of this lesson plan at this moment is not, hey, everybody, you got to master Friend of the Devil right this second. It's just to show you, to give you an idea, you know, of when slash chords can show up. Even though I didn't put the names in, I'm not sure why I didn't put the names in, but someone might, and it could leave you just scratching your head, you know. Okay, now landslide, and it says capo at the 4th fret. Don't worry about that. If you were to do this along with the Fleetwood Mac studio version, you would put a capo on the 4th fret. This is finger picking here, but you can see there it is right there, the G/B. From a guitar teacher's point of view, landslide is one of the most popular moments where slash chord shows up, at least the way I teach, the music that I teach. For some of my students, that might even be the first time they ever see a chord described that way. Quick reminder, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac without a capo. That's about the sound of it. Might be a little bit faster than this, but okay. So the C chord, hopefully that's self-explanatory, but G/B. When you're already on a C chord, this G/B business doesn't have to be a big hard thing. I'm on a C chord. To play a G/B chord, to fret it, my middle finger from the C is simply going to move from the 4th string 2nd fret to the 5th string 2nd fret. There it is right there. Okay, 4th string 2nd fret to the 5th string 2nd fret. And the only other thing I need, pinky, 2nd string 3rd fret. And it was hovering right around there anyways, at least it should have been. C, G/B. By the way, that's a great exercise. If that feels difficult for you, good. Then you've just found a little weekend homework. By the way, you can play this silently, right? No strumming whatsoever. Just C. You know, why would you want to play silently? Oh, you're the only one awake in the house. You don't want to, you know, cause trouble. You know, and just give each one a squeeze, you know. You do not invent your own way of playing G/B. Middle and pinky. Yes, I'm aware there's other ways possible. You want to be able to do it with your middle and pinky. Okay, they are the absolute 2 most practical fingers, even though I know it's not easy at first. I get it. Do not invent your own way of doing it. Don't argue with anybody about how it should be, you know. So, okay, I'm ready to let this go. But there's another context where you will see a slash chord in the description, and it's not, it doesn't have to be anything that's physically hard. Just the name can throw you for a loop. Okay, and again, that PDF you've been looking at is available at my website. Okay, hey, let's. Oh, Caddis, I saw your question. Caddis requesting turnarounds. It's a great idea. Caddis says, could you present a review of turnarounds someday? Maybe you already have. Not exactly. Hey, Chaz, thank you for your super chat, by the way. Caddis, it's a great idea, and I'll add it to my list. If you would like to be exposed to, be aware of a handful of really like kind of common classic turnarounds. I have a bunch, bear with me here. I have a bunch in my free blues guide. So any of you who don't have this right now, stand by. Okay. When the time is right, head over to my website. See my website, see my smiling face right there? Okay. And then watch this. Scroll right there. There it is. Okay. Free. Okay. And you put your email address, blah, blah, hit subscribe. That don't worry, you're not selling your, you know, your identity to anybody. That's just the word they put on there. But yes, technically you will be on my email list, and I will occasionally email you something. That's the price. Nothing's really free, right? Okay. So, but yes. So Caddis, I'm going to add that to the list. That'd be a great weekly teaching feature, a great WTF, just a bunch of common turnarounds. But don't wait for me. Get yourself a copy of this book. And I think it might even be the end of the book, the last couple pages. The Blues Guide. It's free. It's for you. And there is a video. I believe, geez, I should know this. It's been a while. I believe the video is just available on YouTube. You don't have to. You can watch the video without even having the book. And again, it's an e-book. It gets emailed to you instantly. So you fill out your information and it gets emailed to you, shows up in your inbox. The only thing that could possibly go wrong is you give it the wrong email. So make sure you type carefully. It's going to go to whatever email address you put in there. The other thing is that it sometimes goes to people's spam folders, depending on how strong your whole security thing is. So if you don't get it within a minute or two, check your spam folder. I've had a few people say, hey, I didn't get it. And then I say, check the spam folder, and they do, and there it is in the spam folder. And then you can print it out or not. You don't have to print it out. It's not super long. Anyways, Caddis, you will find a bunch of turnarounds there, but I'm going to make a note. Hold on. I'm going to make a note because that would be a great idea in the future. Okay. Turnarounds galore. I'm going to use all caps in my note to myself so I can't miss it. Okay. Excellent. Bada boom, bada boom. All right. There you go. Stop sharing. All right. Hey, if you guys are good, I'm good to do another play along song. Bada boom. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Okay, let's move on to play along song number 2. Not only is it the second one tonight, but it's the second one we ever did. And the song is from Bob Dylan, Knockin' on Heaven's Door. I'm sure I chose it as one of our early play along songs because it checks all the boxes, right? Knockin' on Heaven's Door is a great song, a slow song, a song built on pretty straightforward, easy chords. It's a repetitive song, all of the above, you know? Okay, so this is our new format. I wrote this out nice and neat for us tonight so that you could see this in a easy to read format, hopefully. Don't freak out about all that stuff on the page. I will explain everything. But bottom line is the song goes G, D, A minor, G, D, C, C. Okay, in a nutshell, G, D, A minor twice, G, D, C twice. And that's the whole song. As usual, I'm going to encourage anyone to use this as a chance to solo along with the song. And since the song is in the key of G, the G major pentatonic scale is a great way to solo along. And there's the notes at the bottom of the page for G major pentatonic scale. Okay, so definitely, I recommend doing G the Jonathan way with a middle ring and pinky for this song because of the moment specifically at the, well, A minor going to G is one reason, and C going to G is the other reason. But I won't belabor that point right now. Strumming. Down, 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 up, down, up. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. Okay, that's pretty darn accurate to the vibe of the song. Like Helpless, there's not one explicit strum pattern that you're obligated to do for the song. But you can hear Bob Dylan banging away on these chords in the tune, and this is a great starting point. Anybody who can execute this strum pattern comfortably and make the chord changes comfortably, then you have certainly earned the right to begin taking some chances and doing some other stuff. Okay, so before we start this, I'd like to give you a little heads up for what I probably will do as the song goes, kind of breaking out of this strum pattern. Yeah, for sure. I can feel those hammer-ons coming in. Potentially, the first strum of any given chord, I can totally see myself doing a hammer-on, say like on the A minor. But just when I'm just about to strum the A minor chord, it's going to sound good to lift off your middle finger, then strum in slow motion, and then hammer down. I know it's subtle, That's the sound. You know, on the D, I could see myself doing with my index finger. On the C, doing with the middle finger, like the A minor. G with the middle finger. The middle finger is a pretty strong, heavy finger, relatively speaking, right? Okay, let's just do it. Helpless, this song really doesn't have a whole lot of verses, right? Kind of a coincidence, but we'll take it. I feel better checking my tuning before we jump into this. Oh, that's the one. Okay, let's do it. See you on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. A long black cloud coming on down. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. As I was playing, I was thinking, oh, I got to remember to mention that thing I just did. And you don't want to be thinking that when you're performing a tune because you goof up and stuff. You could hear I started isolating certain bass notes. A little more personality, right? In slow motion, what I just did, G, I hit the 6th string and a little strum. I did a hammer on the 5th string. By the way, you can lift away from the 6th string to do that hammer on to give you some clearance, get you a little real estate. You do not have to keep your 6th string fretted when you're doing a hammer on the 5th string. You know, there's just nothing wrong with that. On the D, I hit the 4th string, little down up strum, but then I did a hammer on the 3rd string. There you go. And then on the C, I think I hit the 5th string and a hammer on the 4th string. hope I make that look easy. If you go to hit a certain string and you hit some other string, don't stop. Just get it the next time, right? Realistically, it's extremely likely that the string you hit by mistake is still a perfectly good note in the chord, right? Nobody knows that you didn't hit the string you meant to, you know? Ricardo says, I was holding on for dear life. Yeah, but you know what? We all get better. I found myself telling students recently, nobody gets worse at the guitar. I've never had a student get worse. When I was a very, very young teacher, I had an experience with one student who did seem to be going backwards. In hindsight, I just wasn't that experienced a teacher. But yes, after teaching for 34 years, I do remember one student who seemed to be getting worse, but it was within the earliest years of my teaching. And in hindsight, I don't know. I definitely didn't know how to address whatever I thought I saw. Okay, anybody have some fun soloing with that G major pentatonic scale? Now's a good time to remind you. Boy, I could have made this whole thing bigger, couldn't I? Okay, I'm going to expand it a little bit here. We don't need to see the title that big, right? Now's a good time to remind you that, hold on, bear with me. Okay, that size would have been more appropriate, right? Any scale can be played all over the guitar. I chose to present the G major pentatonic scale here in our comfort zone. Lots of zeros and twos and threes. But if there's a little voice in your head that says, wait, can't you play this other places? Yeah, definitely, sure. But, you know, I had a little space to fill. I did it the way I did it. Hey, those of you who know the Guns N' Roses version, I believe Guns N' Roses play this song. Everything's the same, except the guitars are tuned down half a step, which is a pain, right? Because what if you want to play along with Guns N' Roses version? You would literally have to either tune your guitar down a half step, so your G major chord would sound like an F sharp major chord, or grab a capo and transpose the tune. But yeah, technically the Guns N' Roses version would sound like this. F sharp major to C sharp major to G sharp minor. Any of those chords sound pleasing, or chords that are, you know, you're comfortable with? No, there'd be a bunch of bar chords. It'd be a pain in the butt, you know, especially because that's not what Guns N' Roses are doing. They just tune their guitars. Good old Slash has his guitar tuned down. So whatever he's doing it for musical reasons, but he's not doing it to make the chords easier. That's for sure. He's not doing it because he has to play this with bar chords. Anyways, you get the idea. Sadly, they made it so it's not comfortable for most of us to play along with their version. Oh well, got to play along with Bob's original version. There you go. Bob Dylan on tour. Speaking of who's in town, he's coming through Connecticut in the middle of July. I just might have to go see him. Okay, questions about good old Knock on Heaven's Door. We only have about half an hour left in the show, so our final, third play-along song of the night is coming up very soon. California Stars, lyrics by Woody Guthrie, music by Billy Bragg and Wilco. That's coming up very soon. I'm calling this the 2026 Play-Along Challenge because, like I said, you got a week to prepare. And before we get to California Stars, and if any of you missed it, next week's play-along songs, and this will be in the description of this live stream as well, are Already Gone by the Eagles. Am I correct that you're supposed to say just Eagles, not the Eagles? I think technically they are Eagles, not the Eagles. Free Fallin' by Tom Petty and Jambalaya by Hank Williams Sr. Those are going to be our 3 play-along songs for next week. You do not have to write those down. It's going to be in the description of this live stream, as well as links to when we did it, however many years ago that was, 120 episodes ago. But those are our play-along songs for next week. Do your prep this week, and then you'll be ready to go next Saturday. Okay, let me just see. Should I sell out? Hey, Randy, thanks for your super chat donation as well, you guys. I really do appreciate that. Going to the Printer Ink Fund. More precious than oil. I'm going to share something that you guys may or may not find. Hey, Mfish, I got your email about your guitar build, and I can't wait to look at that. It looks very cool, but I can't wait to look at it, more in depth. And maybe if it's okay with you, maybe I'll next week we can share the pictures of what you did. Okay, so I'll keep this short. I haven't received an offer to sell out in quite a while. It's almost like they know that I laugh about these offers. So Sven emailed me recently from a nutrition company, and Sven says, I want to get in touch because we've been speaking with a few people. Your content stood out to us, specifically the way you talk about health, fitness, and real performance. It's the kind of content that doesn't feel forced. And that matters a lot to us when we think about who we want to work with. This wouldn't be just a one-off thing. We'd want it to be something that works properly for your audience and the brand. He's talking about his brand, I guess. I'd like to hear more. Shoot me a reply, and I'll fill you in on the details. So what do you think? Should I shoot Sven a reply about his nutrition company? Not going to happen. Anyways, that's our segment we call Should I Sell Out? And I'm going to pass. But I appreciate that he really studied what we do here on this live stream and came away with the fact that we care about our nutrition here. Ricardo, thank you for your super chat. You guys being super generous. I appreciate that. Super chat is how you can make a donation to support this live stream. It's that $ down the bottom of the chat. Okay, before we get to California Stars, how about a quick check in with our poll results so far? If you haven't voted, now's your chance to vote. This is a choose your own adventure kind of poll this week. The question is, which of these teachers would you choose? Say you have a 1-hour lesson. Would you choose a very experienced teacher who's just going to show you one thing? It's their song. It's their thing. I know a guy who was on a kick to teach Pinball Wizard by The Who. And man, day after day from his lesson room, I was hearing him strum Pinball Wizard. Every student got Pinball Wizard. It felt like forever. It's probably only for a week, but it felt like forever. Option number 2, anyways. Would you prefer a less experienced teacher, but they got a big variety of stuff and they're excited to show you just everything under the sun? And if you ask them a question, they're going to try to find the answer. Would that appeal to you? Less experienced teacher, or, and this is a weird one, would you prefer a front row seat, maybe right at the elbow of a guitar player that you know in your life, and you're right there with them and you're watching them so close? Imagine, like I said, a cloak of invisibility. You can go right over and look at their hands and you can see everything they're doing. Be kind of interesting, right? Okay, so at the moment, 47% of you are voting for the very experienced teacher who's teaching you their thing. And that's it. They're not asking you a lot of questions. 41% choose the less experienced teacher who's covering a lot of ground all over the place. And 12%, I like the idea of that front row seat and watching the person's hands right there with everything they do. But hey, the poll is still open, so do vote in that poll. Kind of a funky question this week. Why not? Why not? Let's see, you guys. I see you guys are saying all sorts of things here. Okay. Hey, let's get right to California Stars. For those of you who are really loving this song, those of you who practice this song, I don't want to keep you hanging on for too long. Some of you may know the backstory. Woody Guthrie's family found a bunch of his lyrics that had not been set to music, and they made the lyrics available to the band called Wilco and also Billy Bragg, the English singer-songwriter Billy Bragg. And they made, I believe it was 2 volumes of 2 albums. Mermaid Avenue was the name of one of them, right? Was there Mermaid Avenue Volume 2? And for many, many, many of us, this song really stood out, California Stars. So it's words by Woody Guthrie, music attributed to Wilco and Billy Bragg. The reason this song made the cut, I'm going to make this bigger in a second, is check out this chord progression, you guys. I'm going to zoom. Okay, here we go. A for 2 measures, E for 2 measures, D for 2 measures, back to A. Couple things. First of all, the A chord acts as bookends. The A chord starts off the chord progression and it ends the chord progression. That means when you return to the beginning, you're still beyond the A chord. Don't make the rookie mistake of not remembering that the A chord happens twice as much as the other chords. It happens both at the beginning and the end. That means the A chord happens 50% of the time. When you get to the end, you go back to the beginning, you'll still be on the A chord. Don't let go of that A chord prematurely. Okay, that thing that looks like a percentage sign, that's a type of repeat sign that means repeat the previous measure. It was very important to me to get this song onto one page. And by using that classic symbol that looks like a percent sign, it helped me get this lesson onto one page. So A chord for 2 measures. Don't worry, we'll talk about the strumming in a second. E chord for 2 measures, D for 2 measures, A for 2, but then you go back to the beginning, so it's 2 more, so A really ends up being for 4 measures. Okay, what is going on here with the strumming? Okay, A chord. I'm going to do it a little bit slowly for a second. A chord. Down, up, like this. E chord. Same strum pattern. D like dynamite. Down. Back to A. Now stay in the A chord beginning. Okay, you get the idea? So that's the strum pattern. If we focus just on the strum, down, up. Reminder, upstrokes in this context are usually just glancing off 2 or 3 strings. Do not worry about how many strings you're hitting on the upstrokes. In fact, the less you think about that, the better. Upstrokes in this context are very casual, glancing strokes off of, could be even just 1 string, 2 strings. Don't overthink it. I know what it says on the paper. I know I wrote it out in this conventional way that indicates that you're always hitting 5 or even 6 strings, 4 strings on the D. That, don't believe your eyes. What are you going to believe, me or your own eyes? That's just the standard way of writing this stuff out, and which is fine, but it requires some clarification. Okay, so that's the strum pattern. Down, up, down. Okay, scrolling up a little bit. For those of you who want to work out your soloing, 2 options. The A major pentatonic scale, second position and open position, right? My hope, by the way, is that you guys crank up the original version of the song and practice your soloing along with the original version too, right? This is not the final time you can apply these skills. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I want you guys to see as much of this as possible. We're going to start in a second. Okay, how's that? Let's see what it looks like to you guys. Pretty good. Ricardo, Bob Seger does a version of this song. I did not know that. Ah, cool. I was on a Bob Seger kick. Oh, well, I'll talk. Remind me, when this is done, remind me about the book I'm reading. I'll tell you about the book I'm reading. Let's do this. California Stars. I got my lyrics. I'll see you on the other side. Boom, boom, bum, bum, bum. 1, 2, here we go. I like to rest my heavy head tonight on a bed. California stars, I'd like to lay my weary bones tonight on a bed. California stars, I'd love to feel your hand touching mine and tell me why I must keep working on. Yes, I give my life to lay my head tonight on a bed of California stars. I like to dream my troubles all away on a bed of California stars. Jump up from my starbed, make another day underneath. California stars, they hang like grapes on vines that shine and warm the lover's glass, like friendly wine as I give this world a dream with you on a bed of California stars. I like to rest my heavy head tonight on a bed of California stars. I'd like to lay my weary bones tonight on a bed of California stars. I love to feel your hand touching mine and tell me why I must keep working on. Yes, I give my life to lay my head tonight on a bed of California stars. I like to dream my troubles all away on a bed of California stars. Jump up from my starbed, make another day underneath. California stars, they hang like grapes, vines that shine and warm the lover's glass, like friendly wine. So I give this world to dream a dream with you on a bed of California stars. So I give this world just to dream a dream with you on a bed of California stars. Okay, a couple of things that I found myself doing there that I thought you might have questions about. Not all strums are created equal. The second strum, the second down strum of every measure, I was smacking that a little bit harder because it felt good. Right? It felt good, you know. The other thing was towards the end, you heard, I think, or actually maybe you didn't hear because you're too busy doing your job, which is okay, but you might have noticed I was doing a little fake finger picking. Now the song is really repetitive. There's really only a couple verses that keep circling around. So how are you going to make this song listenable? Say if you were performing it. You can't change the chords, right? The chords are carved in stone. What you do with your pick, yeah, you can change. So I'm doing down up picking, but I'm dancing around, in this case on the A chord. I'm not being very specific. I am doing downs and ups, but other than that very first bass note on the 5th string, I'm giving myself permission to hit really any string within the A chord. If it sounds intentional, it's really not, except for that first. So give yourself permission to do that. If for nothing else, then a strum pattern that you might use in the future. So if I were to to show you what I took away to make room for that. Okay, we call that one unit. Down, 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 up, down, up. One of those is equal to 4 down ups. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 8 little sounds, which I'm going to describe as 4 down ups. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so I don't have a cute name for that, except it's like fake finger picking. It sounds like finger picking-ish, you know. It changes the vibe of the song, right? If I were doing this at an open mic night or performance, I might save that for, later in the tune, bring the volume down, just try to give the performance some texture, right? So it's not just what it looks like on paper, which is same strum all the time, and the verses repeat, and then finally someone decides the song is over. You want to give it more dynamics than that, right? That's the word I'm looking for, dynamics. Okay, questions, comments, thoughts? Ricardo said it used to be my favorite song. Hang in there. I will say this. When you are no longer a listener, you are now the one bringing the song to life. It changes your perspective on the song, right? All of a sudden, it's work, but no guts, no glory. You are literally bring the song to life. I mean, that's why we even do this stuff. There was silence, and then there was music, right? And the music is you. That's pretty profound, right? On the other hand, you used to like this song, and now your relationship is profoundly changed, right? Now you are the song, man. You are the song. And if it's not going well, then you might look at yourself a little differently. I get it. I know. It's a game changer. The rest of the world says, "Oh, I love California Stars. I love whatever." And you're thinking, well, I'm having a hard time getting this to this, and your relationship is just different. I have that. My version of that as a guitar teacher is songs that I used to like, and now that I've taught that song for decades, to me it's like a teaching song. I'll give you an example. It was the summer of 1986-ish. REM was on tour, and they were playing a song that was not released yet. And I went to an REM concert, and they played this great song. I thought, that's a great song. And it was, "This one goes out to the one I love." And I left that concert thinking, oh man, that's, and then when it came out, whatever, shortly after the album, that's the song from the concert. Oh, wow. So exciting. Well, it's still a cool song, but, I for a while, I was using that as one of my teaching songs, and man, I got tired of that song. So things happen. It happens, So now I just have to dig back and remember, okay, but I do remember that moment in the concert where I thought it was the best song ever. Go figure. Ricardo says, imagine how Wilco feels. Yeah, as a performer, I mean, we all hear about artists who show up at the concert and play their greatest hits, and artists who show up at the concert and do not play the greatest hits. And many people fall somewhere in between, right? In a perfect world, the artist has so many greatest hits that nobody can accuse them of not doing something for the audience, right? In a perfect world. But yeah, man, you think every member of every band loves every song they play in every concert? What are the chances? What are the chances of that? I think every person in every band makes their own peace with their chosen career. Who knows? It's complicated, right? It's complicated stuff. A lot of emotion involved, Hey, Barry, thanks for checking in. Barry, you're just shopping because you were out listening to some live music. All right, well, tell us more. Tell us more. We'd love to hear that. I'm just looking to see what you guys are talking about. Okay, so when the mention that Bob Seger, when Ricardo said Bob Seger recorded the California Stars tune. Well, I'm going to stop sharing this. Okay, ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom. I'm reading an interesting book called Won't Back Down. Erin Osmon has a very cool brand new book. Maybe I'll put it on the screen here. And it's about Heartland rock specifically in the 1980s. And just from the pictures on the cover, we got Tom Petty, Bonnie Raitt, Bruce Springsteen, John Mellencamp. I'll show you the book I'm talking about. I've been reading that recently, and there's a big section on Bob Seger, and I have to admit, I never knew too much about Bob Seger. Okay, there we go. Okay. So on the screen, just for the fun of it, I'm putting the Amazon link. Okay, the Amazon page, I should say. Boom, boom, boom. So this is what I've been reading before bed. I Won't Back Down, Heartland Rock in the Fight for America, written by Erin Osmon. Hey, she, if her name rings a bell, she wrote a book about John Prine and about, someone else. Erin Osmon. Okay, so yeah, talking about Springsteen, Seeger, Mellencamp, Melissa Etheridge, Bonnie Raitt, Lucinda Williams. Interesting book. I have the experience of reading it is a little weird because I feel like, well, I was there when it happened, you know, and that's different than, I mean, I've sure read a lot of music books that cover historical points where I was not there. And it's kind of weird, like, wow, man, 1980s, I guess that's history, you know? Anyways, when Bob Seger's name came up, it reminded me that I would share that with you for the fun of it. Why not? I'll put that link in the chat too. Copy. Okay. I mean, I'll put it in the chat, but I'll put it in there. I don't think it'll let me put it in the chat because it looks like a long link. Okay. Bear with me. We're going to wrap up pretty soon, you guys, but it's not too late for you to ask a question. Okay, bada bing. I'm going to make sure I've remembered to say the things that I want to say. I'm excited about Father's Day tomorrow. I'm going to go visit my son, see what he's been doing at his summer job, working in a lab, man. Polymer research. I'll have more details about polymer research next time I see you. But excited to see him tomorrow. Going to stop at Love of Fuzz. Who doesn't love Love of Fuzz? Love of Fuzz has a Reverb page, and they have a website. It's a very, very cool guitar shop. I just put the link in the chat. I highly recommend checking them out. I have some stuff to trade in, some stuff that's been kicking around, collecting dust. I need to get it out. And I don't think it's going to get me enough bucks to buy like a new guitar or something, maybe a new pedal, something like that. But that's part of my Father's Day plan tomorrow. Hey, don't forget to vote in our poll. Poll question is, which student lesson experience would you prefer? There's 3 options there. I won't go over the details, but you can see in the poll. We've got a bunch of votes already. Hey, don't forget to throw this live stream a chat. I need you to, don't forget to give this live stream a like. I need you to like it because YouTube won't let me like my own live stream until it's over. I know what's up with that. So I need you to like it for me. So please do throw this live stream a thumbs up just because it makes me happy. There's no big meaning. So Barry, James, you was listening to some traditional Irish music at the Cobblestone Pub in Smithfield, Dublin City. Oh, that sounds great. I see, Barry, I see your question. Barry, great question. When should you use that G chord? I'm going to call it Jonathan's G, the one with your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger. Short answer is use it all the time. Do it all the time. The longer answer, it's still going to be a short answer though. The big argument for doing G this way, at least being able to do it this way, So many chords that pair well with G require the index finger to be ready right around the first fret. See how my index finger is sort of hovering right there at the first fret? G to C, G to D7, G to F, G to A minor. There's so many contexts. And so even though it takes work to get good at this G in the beginning, it's worth it in the long run. Having said that, of course, there's times to do G other ways, including the four finger, the Beatles G, the bluegrass G, the four finger G. So I'm not saying you're only allowed to play this one version of G. I'm saying G is one of the few chords of the beginning, cowboy chords where you really want to be able to do it a few different ways. Whereas I would say like a C chord, no, C is C, A minor is A minor. There's no significant other way of doing C that you really need to put some sweat into. Whereas I do feel that way about G. Okay. Was that 60 seconds or less? Probably not. I see you said in 60 seconds or less. Yeah. Beginner guitar lessons here. Wishing happy Father's Day to me and to everybody. Yeah. If that G feels like a challenge, it should. It's awkward. For what it's worth, I began working in a little neighborhood guitar store outside Chicago at 20 years old. So I'd played the guitar for a few years, and one of the first things that a guitar teacher suggested to me on one of his breaks, and I was sitting there strumming a guitar waiting for customers to come into the store, the guitar teacher on duty strongly suggested that I learn G that way. And I thought, wow, I'm getting a free lesson from a real guitar teacher. And he was not wrong, So there you go. Okay, so hey Barry, thank you for your super chat donation. I appreciate that. Barry, if I ever get over to Ireland, I'm gonna buy you a drink at the Cobblestone Pub. That sounds great. I'm there in spirit. Okay, I think we have done our due diligence here. I'm going to end with my own dumb question of the night. I ask it so you don't have to. This ties in with a poll question about what type of teacher-student experience would interest you. Here's my own dumb question of the week. I ask it so you don't have to. How do you know if a teacher is good? Like, say you take a lesson and they give you some homework and it's kind of hard, and you show up to the next lesson, you can kind of do it, and they kind of explain why you should work at it. And I don't know, then you leave your second lesson, maybe you feel like you've learned something, but that little voice in your head might be saying, oh, is this person a good teacher? Like, how do you know, right? How do you know if they're a good teacher or not? Is it, if they're expensive, they must be a good teacher? If they're busy, I mean, if they're got a waiting list of students and you manage to get in from the waiting list, does that mean they're a good teacher? No matter what, are they the right teacher for you? I don't know. It's a dumb question. How do you know? How do you know if a teacher's any good? What do you think? It's actually not a dumb question, but it's a loaded question. It's a complicated question. How do you know? I mean, some things would suggest a teacher's competent. If they've been doing it for a long time, you'd hope they're good at it, right? If they have a bunch of students and you guys manage to figure out that Saturdays at lunchtime, that teacher can squeeze you in. Okay, that would suggest like, okay, everyone else takes lessons from them, so they must be pretty good. They're expensive. I mean, you'd think, right? That would be a sign that which should take a lot of nerve to charge big bucks and not be a decent professional, right? Other things to look for. Are you guys communicating together? Do they listen to what you say, but do you also listen to what they say? Is there some communication going on? How about setting some goals? Setting some goals, concrete goals that you both understand and both can relate to. Short-term goals, long-term goals, that's a sign of a good teacher. Steven says personality is half of it. Yeah. Ricardo says it's easier to spot a bad teacher. Yeah, interesting. That's why it's a complicated question, right? Like, well, we all agree on what a bad teacher is, right? Someone who's not listening to what you're doing, someone who is not good at communicating stuff. But say you're not making progress as fast as you hope to, right? Is there a little voice in your head that might say, like, is it the teacher? Like, I don't know. I think I'm practicing enough. Shouldn't I be better than, I've had a million students say to me, God, I thought I'd be better at this by now. It's a common feeling. So is there, DAC Poet says, the teacher I have now was the assistant teacher to my first teacher. That's interesting. Barry says, my first guitar teacher just wanted to play riffs himself to prove how good he was. Yeah. M. Fish says, if more of the lesson is them showing you what they can do and not them asking you to show them what you're working on. Yeah. It's tricky. What if a student, practices once a week and show up to the lesson, the second lesson, the third lesson, whatever, it's not going super well. They're getting frustrated. Maybe the teacher's getting a little bit frustrated. Is that the teacher? Is that the student? I mean, I know, should a teacher be able to wave a magic wand and inspire you so that you're like, oh my God, I can't put the guitar down now, right? I mean, that ain't a perfect world, Yeah. Chaz says, you've been my only teacher for the most part. That's good. That's good. You could do worse. I'll say that for myself. You could do worse, It's tricky. I mean, a teacher in a perfect world, I mean, if we were going to do like a perfect teacher, they would be amazingly inspiring, right? And the next morning your head would pop off the pillow like, holy cow, man, I cannot wait to play the guitar for, an hour before work and 2 hours after work and 6 times on Sunday, whatever. In a perfect world, right? You'd be amazingly inspired. I don't know. Anyways, that's my dumb question of the week. How do you know if a teacher's a good teacher? You could make a list and of your dream teacher, right? Of the things you'd hope would happen over time or things you're looking for, and then just see how many boxes of those get checked. Probably not every box is going to get checked, right? Not everyone, but maybe a bunch of them. Wouldn't it be great to audition teachers or to watch through like a two-way glass and say like, okay, I see there's 4 teachers. I want that one. For many of us, it's not. It's you show up and you don't have that many choices, right? You're like, oh, I hope this is a good one. It's like being back in grade school or something. Like the school just let out here in Connecticut, and the kids back in the day, I think they used to let you know who your next teacher was at the end of the school year. So you have all summer long to think about it. But no, I think that those days are over, man. They let you know like just a week before school starts. So who's your 5th grade teacher going to be, right? You don't know. Being a guitar lesson says what makes a good teacher is being able to connect with all the personalities of their students. I had this student experience I'm going to describe was so many years ago, more than 30 years ago. I think the statute of limitations has expired. I've told this story before. I had a student who was just not a talker. He really did not express himself or communicate. He said very little, lesson after lesson. And, I felt I was a very young, inexperienced teacher, and I needed more than that, man. I needed something, and he just wasn't giving me anything. But he kept coming week after week. And the subject of the Beatles came up, lesson number, 11 or something. And I said, oh yeah, man, I listened to Beatles as a kid. I love the Beatles. The Beatles are so great. And he opened his mouth and he said, I guess that's why we get along so well. I'm not sure I'd ever heard his voice before, but I was relieved to know that our relationship was rock solid. Oh, I remember his first name. I remember a little bit about what he looked like, but it was over 30 years ago. Oh, well, you never know. You never know. Everyone's all so different. But yeah, imagine a perfect world where you could rotate between a team of teachers and different experiences. I mean, that really would be great. That's what I would wish for myself, man. Take, a few months of lessons from one teacher, move on to a second teacher, but they're all great. They all do different things, circle back to the first teacher again. That'd be kind of awesome. In a way, YouTube is sort of the equivalent of that-ish, right? You have different YouTubers teaching different songs, different ways. Certain people work for you. I mean, it's kind of that way, but nothing like real human beings. Barry says, my first guitar teacher told me that my electronic tuner was inaccurate and I should instead tune my guitar only to his ear. No, man, that's rough. That is rough. I don't know. It's like a bowl of cherries, right? You never know what you're going to get. All right. On that happy note, thank you for being temporarily, thank you for being my student. I'm proud to be your teacher during these live streams. Next week, Already Gone by the Eagles. I've already forgotten the other two. Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, Jambalaya by Hank Williams. Links to the live streams where we already did those will be in the description of this live stream very soon. You don't have to hunt for them within the live stream. Everything's timestamped. You can find right where it is. Probably I'm going to teach them next Saturday exactly how I taught them way back then. So there should be no surprises, right? There should be. We'll find out, but it should be the same. DAC Poet says, my teacher said, I talk when I make mistakes. And he told me to shush. I know when you make mistakes. Yeah, I've had students do that. Say, oh, I just played that wrong. And I think, yep. But, again, everyone is so different. And, I laugh at the humanity of it all. I'm sure I have my things as a teacher, when my students like, oh boy, here comes that story again. Or here comes that explanation again. He's about to tell me how he really loves major 7 chords, how they sound so pretty. Go ahead, get it out of your system, teacher. Tell me about the major 7 chords again. Yeah, I have no doubt. Someday I should make a parody video of myself. On that note, you guys, thanks for being here. Let's do this all again next Saturday. 3 new play-along songs. It'll still be the month of June. No live stream July 4th, but that's 2 weeks away. We're about that right now. I'm going to say a few good nights. Good nights and goodbyes for now to DAC Poet, Ricardo, Chaz, Barry. Who else is still around? Beginning Guitar Lessons, our other moderator. Thanks for being here. M. Fish, Stephen. Who else do I see here? Thank you for the super chats, everybody. Randy. Thank you to Music Fan for being our other moderator, the moderator I am married to. Hope you guys all have a good Father's Day, whatever you do tomorrow, even if it's just a beautiful Sunday. I wish you all a beautiful Sunday and some opportunities to play the guitar. All right, you guys. See you guys next week.